Here comes the flood. We have major flooding happening from Coleman to Canmore. Communities are battling rising waters. In Turner Valley, a sour gas pipeline has ruptured. People have been told to stay inside and be prepared to evacuate. Here, residents in Canmore have already been evacuated, and the rain continues. A viewer just sent this video in looking from his backyard in Canmore. Cougar Creek is now a raging river. We're hearing some homes and cars have actually been swept away. And in Longview, authorities are trying to find two people whose camper was swept into the Highwood River. Further downstream, High River is also dealing with serious flooding. Several areas have been evacuated and residents are seeking shelter at the Highwood High School. Our coverage begins now. Today on the CTV News at 5, widespread flooding and evacuations across Alberta. Plus, Crow's Nest Pass evacuations after debris on a river takes out a rail bridge. And travel is not recommended in parts of Alberta and BC.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The city of Lethbridge and the county of Lethbridge remain under a state of emergency tonight. City officials are monitoring water levels and hoping the Oldman River and its subsidiaries will crest around 8 o'clock tonight. Schools were closed by 2 o'clock in the day, and the river valley has been closed to the public. Low-lying neighborhoods have been evacuated as precaution. There is a stream flow advisory in place. Daryl Rummel reports.
It looks calm now, even somewhat peaceful, but today the Oldman River poses a very real flood threat. The system is holding more water than it can handle, and it's coming this way. Low-lying areas are evacuated, precautions being taken.
We're looking for that peak or crest to come in around the 3,000 cubic meters a second. So we're going to stay in a local state of emergency as the city of Lethbridge. And the objective of that is to make sure we have control and safety of, number one, of the people that will access the river valley. And secondly is that we can maintain evacuation areas.
Wednesday's powerful storm pounded Lethbridge overnight, flooding streets and overloading storm drains. At its peak, Great Lakes Boulevard was living up to its name, and South Parkside Drive became a lake.
The system is just too much for the system to handle. Our storm systems are built for 1 in 5 rains, and of course, as most meteorologists and climatologists will attest to, storms are definitely getting more intense and more frequent.
Inside his North Lethbridge home, Andrew Batkin continues to clean up after heavy rain flooded his basement with 6 inches of water and collapsed a wall.
We'll have to see what the damage is after we're all done and clean it all up, see if we can repair that boat wall. But yeah, as I say, I love thunderstorms, but no, not when it carries that much rain.
Between 7 o'clock and midnight, this area received 61.2 millimeters of rain. In June, this area only receives about 63.
Right now, we don't know if the weather will hold out, and everything that the river can hold basically is being let go at the dam at this point.
Residents evacuated in low-lying areas are expected to be out of their homes for 12 to 24 hours. The river valley is closed for the time being. For now, all they can do is sit back, wait, and watch as Mother Nature runs its course. Daryl Rummel, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Residents in Coaldale, Picture Butte, and Lethbridge are all being asked to reduce their water consumption as much as possible to help alleviate the stress on the drainage system. Now, the community of Fort Macleod has also been issued a state of emergency. And the Crow's Nest Pass, it's under a state of emergency too. Some residents there are sandbagging, while others are working to save bridges and buildings close to rain-swollen rivers and creeks. Terry Vogt reports.
For crews working in the Crow's Nest Pass, the priority has been to keep rivers and creeks clear of debris. But the constant rain, combined with melting mountain snowpack, has caused waterways to rise quickly, in some areas overflowing their banks.
Well, we have a couple of small rivers that do give us problems at these times. And one of them in particular, Lions Creek, has really it gave us problems this time because we had what we think is a flash flood.
Scared as hell.
Trees, logs, and other debris caught under this rail bridge near downtown Blairmore, creating a dam that rapidly flooded the street and caused the municipality to evacuate nearby homes and businesses.
I know that all of our basements are underwater. We've got 3 or 4 sump pumps in most houses.
The storm washed out creek banks and 2 bridges. Several others were barricaded. The health center was also put on alert after a log jam caused this creek to rise dramatically.
Well, it's a lot worse than it was when we had the flood in '95 in town here. We banked everything up, everything's rip-rap better, but different properties are getting eaten up this time.
There's really not a lot of danger here, but it's going to be a lot of inconvenience and it's going to be very costly.
The Crow's Nest Pass is already accepting help from Pincher Creek and other surrounding municipalities. They know the cost of cleanup is going to be high, but with more rain in the forecast, it's bound to go up. Terry Vogt, CTV News, in the Crow's Nest Pass.
The good news is water levels in the Crow's Nest Pass are actively receding, but the creeks and rivers are being monitored on an ongoing basis. An emergency reception center has been set up in the Coleman Support Center, but has been moved to the municipal office in Coleman now because only 1 individual has registered so far. Travel is not being recommended from southwestern Alberta into the East Kootenay. Mudslides and flooding are causing headaches for drivers from Coleman to Sparwood. This is some video Curtis DeGagna sent us. It's of Highway 3 near the BC border. In most cases, roads aren't completely shut down. They are down to 1 alternating lane, though. That is really slowing traffic down. And this is Michelle Creek, about 6 kilometers east of Sparwood, BC, where traffic is down to 1 lane. A travel advisory is now in place for the area of the road because it's been washed out, and RCMP believe the highway could be completely gone in this stretch by the end of the afternoon. Now, this picture of Highway 3 east of Sparwood is of the highway being washed away. It's from Alex Hansen. Parts of the road have been washed out already, and as we said, could be gone later tonight. Okay, Dory, how much rain has Lethbridge actually seen?
Yeah, as of 3 o'clock this afternoon, Jackie, we've had 72.7 millimeters of rain. As you heard in the story, the average for the month of June usually is about 63 millimeters. Part of that parcel of rain that we got last night, 50 millimeters of it, occurred in less than a 2-hour time span. So that's a lot of rain for a 24-hour period, and certainly a lot of rain for a 2-hour time span. But we've got a little more rain in the forecast yet. We're not out of the woods.
Thank you, Dory. And we're going to talk more about the rain and flooding conditions. Evacuations started early this morning in Canmore, where the normally quiet Cougar Creek has become a raging river.
All of a sudden, I'm not so sure about my house anymore.
This viewer video shows the creek roaring past houses. You can see in the background half of the footbridge. It's now gone. 40 homes were evacuated about 2 a.m. Canmore residents are reporting that several homes have actually been wiped out.
Like this is, we used to fight.
And here's a look at the standstill on the Trans-Canada. Mudslide has wiped away part of the highway near Canmore, and there's at least 1 more mudslide near Banff. Trans-Canada Highway is closed in both directions just inside the East Banff gates. Just a little further west, Trans-Canada is also closed at the Norquay turnoff. The Road to Sunshine and the Minnewanka Loop are also closed. So is the highway between Banff and Radium. Much of the power in the Canmore area, it's out. So was a lot of cell phone service. So it's challenging to get updated information. Even the RCMP told us they might have to move their operations to higher ground. To Calgary now, where residents along the Elbow River are being told to leave their homes. Mandatory evacuations are in place in 6 communities. Residents in Mission, Elbow Park, Stanley Park, Roxborough, Rideau, and Discovery Ridge are being told to get out now. The Calgary Zoo has also been shut down. And it's been an exhausting day for residents in High River under a state of emergency for nearly 12 hours now. The Highwood River is not expected to peak until at least midnight. Almost the entire town is underwater. Levels are still rising. Bridges are flooded, and residents in most parts of town have been evacuated. Dozens of cars in the town have been swept away. The RCMP says it's also requested help from the Department of National Defense. Officials are advising people to leave immediately. And a leak of potentially deadly sour gas in a southern Alberta town has also forced flooding evacuations and confined other residents to their homes today. Kara Tobin of the Alberta Energy Regulator says the town of Turner Valley has evacuated some residents and has put some others in a shelter as a precautionary measure. Mounties say about 150 people were forced to leave the town. A sour gas pipe that's owned by Calgary-based Legacy Oil and Gas has burst. Firefighters say it's lucky nobody was hurt in an early morning fire in South Lethbridge. Crews were called to this home at around 4 this morning. The home sits along the 300 block of 13th Street South. One person was taken to hospital with smoke inhalation. Everyone inside was able to make it out safely. Early estimates peg the damage at between $350,000 and $400,000. No word yet on the cause. And the volunteers and staff at the Lethbridge Interfaith Food Bank are being recognized for all their hard work. They have received the Excellence in Food Banking Award for medium-sized communities. The award recognizes Canadian food banks that go above and beyond their core mission of providing food to those in need. Executive Director for the Interfaith Food Bank, Danielle McIntyre, credits programs like community kitchen classes and a new teaching garden. She also added that they provide things like diabetic, baby, and birthday bundles as well. Coming up, Dory's going to bring us the latest on the forecast first. We're going to update you with the markets.